And then what's really going to be important is like cutting open that window, making that space. You're cutting high up over your head, cutting low. And then you're coming back and saying, okay, well here's the vine that I cut. I'm now going to grab that shovel there. And I'm going to dig that root out. So what I'm doing is I'm going to follow it with my shovel and get underneath, leveraging that out, be able to pop it, and we'll start loosening that soil so it's coming out. There it goes. All right, that's the majority of it. So now I got my loose soil. I got a lot of leaf litter here. I don't want leaf litter in my plant hole because the leaves can create air pockets. So we're clearing up that space. You can use your shoe, you can use your shovel. All
Yeah,
right.
it is.
Again, you know, leveraging mechanism. My soil is right next to my hole. It's double the width of my pot. It's the same depth as my pot, right? Okay, in some trees, this will be something the site leaders, well, like group leaders will point out. Some trees are much more mature and they'll have really entangled roots in their pot, and so we want to do something called tickling the roots, right? And so that allows the roots to be loosened out so that the roots don't go and strangle the tree, which is what happens many times when you plant a plant without tickling those roots, so the roots can go out and spread on the surface or under the soil. So that's really key. So you're gonna pull this guy out. What I like to do is put the pot right over top of my hole and put it on its side and gently pull that plant out as I'm loosening that soil, doing this sort of thing, and that plant starts to wiggle out. Sometimes it takes a little more time. There it goes. There it is. Okay. So there's your little plant, and you can see those roots, they're starting to go in a circle because they've been tied up in a pot. So then that goes into the soil. What you want to make sure your volunteers are doing is that this top is equal to the height of this existing soil, right? So it's not going to go deeper, it's not going to go higher, because we don't want any roots that might be right here at the surface to be exposed, but we also don't want to bury any of the trunk, because then it could choke. Tree protector is really important to protect our new little seedlings from the deer. So when you get your tree in the ground, we want to make sure the tree protectors are sliced like this, because if these trees will get nice and mature, and let's say they get too fat, they'll be able to push this open. But you will use zip ties to tie the stake to the tree and make sure that this is not too open. So you like maybe one zip tie on the top there, and then another zip tie, you know, fastening the tree protector to the stake. But you'll fasten it after you stick the stake in the ground and you mallet it down with a hammer, which we'll have. It wants to be nice and sturdy so it's not jiggling around, and a storm comes in and it'll all just fall over and knock the tree down. So this gets staked down next to your tree seedling. This guy goes around your tree carefully. Sometimes you kind of have to maneuver it gently. Some of our trees are bigger than this guy, right? So you want to kind of squeeze those leaves together and get it underneath there, and then gently put it on top. Get it nice and flush to the surface of the ground. Like this side wants to be nice and tight to the ground, because what we get is like little mice or things, and they'll come and also chew at the bark, and they could kill your tree.